We're being recorded. Awesome. Well, thank you, Becky, for jumping on here to share a little bit about the Goddess Book Club. The Goddess Book Club was renamed by the book club, which I absolutely love. How long have you been in the book club? Off and on for years?
Yeah, off and on for years.
Awesome. Okay, I am gonna pull up the chat. So if anyone has any questions while we're sharing or after we share, you can post a comment under this video and we would be happy to answer any questions you have. All right, so yeah, the Goddess Book Club was birthed from, I guess it was when I did a book club for a bunch of the health coaches, The Artist Way. And it was so fun. And there was so much magic in our shares and going through this book together that that's what birthed the book club. So what do you like about the book club?
Well, it's been really great to be there throughout the years because it's definitely evolved and become like even deeper than it was in certain ways. So I guess I love the opportunity to go deep with other like-minded women and be connected with other women in a supportive way and be able to tap into all this wisdom and knowledge from other goddesses.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah. And then the books we choose are pretty amazing. So that's fun.
I'd say the books that guidance tells us to read are great. They're
always transformative.
Yeah, they're usually in the realm of spiritual, right? The self-help, spiritual, something along those lines. So we've done the Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religions of the Earth. We did Braiding Sweetgrass. We did the Sophia Code, which was friggin' powerful. And actually, that's why I'm super excited about doing Awakening Shakti, because I think this book is going to be like the Sophia Code as we embrace these goddesses and their energies and their codes and frequencies. Like, oh my gosh, I get chills just thinking about it.
Well, yeah. My favorite thing about this book is I was raised Christian, Catholic, and obviously know the Bible stories of creation and all of the things that go along with that. And it's really empowering to read kind of a creation story that comes from goddesses and women. And it's just something that I can relate to more because you're pretty much going through this book learning about different characteristics that you might want to bring forth or that you already have. And it's just a different experience.
Yeah. And I like that in this book, she's giving us meditation. So, I enjoy leading a little bit of breath or meditation during our calls, but I also love that we can just tap into all of her meditations on the calls this time. That gets me really excited. And it was a cool synchronicity that we kind of did that on the first call, one of her first meditations. And that brings me a little bit, I did want to share a little bit about what we do on the calls for anyone that wants to join the Goddess Book Club. I know some of the ladies in here have messaged me and been like, I want to join the Goddess Book Club. And then, I haven't heard back. So I'll tell you some about what we do. Authentic relating is an actual thing. You can look up authentic relating. Maybe I can drop like the website here. Let me go back to the home page of this website. I can drop the website into the chat. Let me just find the right window. Where is the correct window? Oh, there we are. I see us. Okay. It's a real thing. It's like a whole thing, but basically at the beginning of the calls, we're going to do a check-in. We do check-ins. So it's what you're noticing right now, which could be that everyone on the top row of your Zoom is wearing red. That could be what you're noticing right now. And then how are you feeling? Well, maybe I'm feeling a little tired. My voice is a little hoarse. And I'm feeling very inspired and excited about the new moon. So that was authentic. That's actually how I feel right now. So that's an example. And it gets easier to do that. But that's a nice way for us to all land in the present moment together. So I love that. Anything you want to add to that, Becky?
Well, this is a new thing. We haven't done it before. And it's so simple. I don't know. Like, I'm just blown away at like, why haven't I been doing this? Because it's like a simple question. And then it's kind of awkward. For me, it was kind of awkward the first time we did it last week. I think I'm just kind of sometimes just like super in my head. So it kind of made me think. And like when Neve asked me the question, I was like, like it felt uncomfortable. So I'm excited to do this in a group and incorporate it into my own life, because I think it's a great way to digest your emotions, because then you're acknowledging what you're feeling in the moment, instead of like, you get used to acknowledging it instead of having, like, hopefully instead of me having a hard time every time, I'll start to be like, oh, da da da,
Yeah, it's asking you to leave the head a little bit, right? Drop into the body, notice what you're actually feeling, like soreness. I have a little bit of soreness in my lymph here, so I was massaging that. Right, so that type of thing. I don't know if I told you the story, but I'll share it now. So like, I really love that you said, I want to take it into my life, because I have found it so life-changing. I was at the table, and I'm sorry if I already told you the story, Becky. I'm going to share it anyways, because it keeps coming. I was at the dinner table with my partner and my son, and the tension was rising between them. And I was observing, right? I was noticing, oh, they're both getting a little like, it's starting to feel intense. And so I was like, whoa, let's do a check-in. I was like, what are you noticing? And what are you noticing? And what are you feeling? And what are you feeling? And I went back and forth a couple times, and they shared pretty organically, because they were both feeling a lot of things, because they were feeling anger and frustration. And what happened when they shared is it diffused all the anger. And it was so magical. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. So I saw the benefit of that it was having in my family and in my relationship. So I was like, of course I want to know how you guys are feeling. Like, I want to know how each of us is feeling when we come to the call. So it made sense to add it.
Yeah, and I think it's especially important for women. Like, I think in our culture, we often disregard our emotions, our feelings, our needs, and being a part of a group of women that is doing this regularly, I think it's just a great practice to start to acknowledge that we all do have these feelings, emotions, and needs. Like, all of us women have probably similar experiences.
Yeah, and that is something fun, the synchronicities that happen on the call. I love those. I'm really glad you brought in needs, because I didn't do that, but that's the next step. And I would like to do it on our calls, is desire or need or request. So the first thing is what am I observing? What am I noticing? That could be objective, doesn't have to be. What are you feeling is subjective for sure. And then your desire is subjective. It's whatever. And this is where I think it really helps with women, because we are so not tapped into our desires. And so even just thinking like, oh, like right now I desire some water, but I already drank all my lemon water. All right, look, got a little lemon in there. But just being tapped in, it doesn't have to be a big desire. Like, oh, I feel a little thirsty because I'm talking. So I like that. And then we do brags and gems. So this is just, if you did some self-care and you nourished yourself, it's an opportunity to brag. If you are signed up for a new training, we have a lot of people that are doing awesome things. So, this is where you could share something like that. Or if you had something that you learned that you think would benefit the group, if you're thinking about the goddesses and you come to the call, that's where you would share that gem. Could be a quote. I mean, anything. We've had all kinds of things. And then we usually pull a card. Did you want to share anything about brags and gems, or?
Yeah, sometimes what I've noticed, and you've noticed as well, is there are a lot of synchronicities. I think you mentioned that earlier in the call, but Like you could be reading a chapter in the book and then all these things happen that are related, or you're noted like, yeah, that just happens a lot, not only in this group, but all of Neve's groups where it's like, oh, we're learning about this. And then somebody else taught me the same thing in a little bit different of a way, or so that's a fun thing about the Goddess Book Club.
Yeah, and that's like a reflection of the oneness that we all are, which is really cool. Yeah, and then we pull from this a card from this deck. This is an Ayurvedic deck, and it's a bunch of self-care habits. So last time we did refresh and restore. And so it's talking about oil pulling. So then we just do a check-in about, are we doing that habit? Do we want to do that habit? Whatever. And that optional homework, do that habit once.
Which is nice for people that might join our group that don't know a lot about Ayurveda, because then you can learn about all the habits of Ayurveda, because there are plenty of them to learn about.
There really is. And it's nice to do an easeful entry into Ayurveda. So
yeah, they're like just simple reminders. You're like, oh, I haven't done oil pulling for a long time. And then you have the opportunity to try it out that week.
Yeah, and I think we already mentioned that we do a meditation. So we're going to take the meditations that are from this book, pick one of them to do on each call. And they're not, at least the ones I've read so far are not particularly long. Some are longer than others. And then we discuss the chapter. And sometimes the discussion of chapter might insert itself in brags or something, and that's okay too. But we have this sharing of collective wisdom with the discussion. And that is the power of women gathering together and remembering our ancient ways. And I love that part. So pretty much, I need more water. Pretty much the only thing else that I wanted to share is that if you are interested in joining us, we did just start this book, so it is a good time. But you can also join the Goddess Book Club anytime. You just have to talk to me first, so that we can make sure we're on the same page and it is what you're feeling an alignment and resonance with it. And it's open-hearted. The requirements are you have to be open-hearted, open-minded, and on a spiritual growth journey. So yeah, anything else you want to add, Becky?
I guess just a closing thought, which we do in our group as well. This is not just like a book club. Like we're not just getting together and reading a book and talking about it. Like obviously we do all these other things that are just life-changing. So it's definitely worth the investment, and being able to work with Neve, who has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom and the utmost integrity when it comes to the work that she's doing and teaching. So it's a good opportunity to start working with her, and then find out if that's something that you might want more of, because she has a lot of other offerings that are really life-changing.
Yeah, including the Sacred Sex course that's free right now. So if anybody wants that, please just send me a message or comment, because I really want some people to go through and test it out and give me some feedback so I can make it better. So that would be awesome. Thank you for that moment of honoring me. I really received it into my whole central channel and my heart, and it felt like pink sparkles. So thank you. And what Soko says about the book club is that it's better than therapy.
Damn straight.
Awesome.
And we have a cleanse coming up, if you didn't see the video on that.
Yeah, there is a cleanse. Thank you, Becky. I run a cleanse twice a year in the fall and the spring. Occasionally I'll run a third one, but usually just fall and spring. And that is also a great way to just connect with the goddesses that are in the book club and see, like, do I vibe with these ladies? Do I want to continue to hang out with them? And if you've vibed with us before and you miss us, the cleanse is a great way to hang out for a little while. So that would be such an honor if anyone is feeling that call to nourish themselves. And I can share that video in this group as well. So yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I'm so stoked to cleanse and read this book. Good stuff. All right. Yes, comment if you have any questions or if you want to chat. Love you guys.